Hello everyone, it's the Clark Knight, and today I got another video for you. It's going to be about 10 things that I'm looking forward to and why I am buying the Nintendo Switch. So let's get into it. So number one is Nintendo is starting to learn that they need to bring out more titles, or at least get people aware of more titles at the beginning of their launch. When the Wii U came out, people were like, there's really no reason to buy it, and it wasn't till like the Smash era that people were really getting into the Wii U because of these games. Games like ARMS and games like 123 Switch, they're not going to be console sellers, but they are nice additions for this. But games that come out in the future, like games like Breath of the Wild and games like ARMS, 123 Switch even, these are nice additions for the Nintendo Switch. But the thing is that most people aren't going to buy a Switch just for Breath of the Wild. I know maybe if that's your thing you would, but I'm personally just going to get it for the Wii U and then wait for other titles to come out for the Nintendo Switch. But if you want to buy titles like ARMS, there's going to be the new Splatoon. These titles are what's going to be the system sellers, and that's because they're going to be exclusive titles only the Wii or Nintendo Switch can have. And this is probably why the Nintendo Switch is going to start selling in those later months in the summer and the fall. That's why that's going to be where it's really going to be making its big bank. And along with that, another big positive, which is number two, is the third-party support. We've already seen that Skyrim's going to be in it, and there's going to be a ton of third-party games for the Nintendo Switch. Especially, I think there's going to be a lot of indie games that are brought to the Nintendo Switch just because they were really emphasizing how it's going to be a good indie platform. But in general, I think all these third-party games coming to the Nintendo Switch, there's a huge list of them. I'll put them right there. And yeah, it's going to be insane, some of these titles that get released. But the thing is, you really have to make it so you like Skyrim. Most people are going to get it for the Switch because they're like, I've never had Skyrim mobile before. Taking that to go would be cool. But there really has to be this differentiating factor to buy it for the Switch rather than for Xbox or PlayStation 4, because I think people are kind of stuck in their ways and they're still going to buy them for those systems. But maybe the mobility of the Nintendo Switch will persuade people to buy their favorite games for those consoles for the Switch so they can take them on the go. So, party games have been on the rise, and this third point is going to make sense saying this. Nintendo Switch is going to be great for party games. They have a lot of demonstrations, especially with the 123 Switch, where it's you don't even have to look at the TV. You just have the JoyCon controllers, and you're looking at your opponent. And I think that's a really cool concept where you're not even using the TV. A lot of people were kind of weirded out by this because it's not traditional. But really, anything that Nintendo does comes off as not traditional because they're just trying to innovate with every console they bring out, which is very admirable. But the thing is, with this new party game mechanic, it's something that people that aren't even big fans of Nintendo games or like just gaming in general can get into, since it's not that attached to the TV, if that makes any sense. I just know that this is very party game friendly, and with games like Jack in the Box, or I think that's what it's called, Jackbox games or whatever. Those party games have been really popular. If we get a bunch of those for the Wii U and somehow utilize the Joy-Cons with it, then I think it's going to be a huge success. So another thing that was added is online chat. A lot of people have been very skeptical about this and the new system that they're bringing out. So here's what it is. For the first few months having the Nintendo Switch, it's going to be free. And then I believe the fall is going to hit, and then you're going to have to start paying money for it. I believe it's like $20, if that sounds about right. And that's not a ton compared to other consoles. Maybe it's a little more. I'm gonna put that up. I'm gonna fact check myself. But anyways, this is a really cool thing they've been doing. They've been listening to their player base. I've always wanted online chat, especially like playing Splatoon. I was like, I wish I could talk to my teammates because this is frustrating. We need to coordinate. But yeah, just this online chat feature. It's going to be through a app on your phone, which I think is going to be a good idea because then you'll be able to play online mobily as well. So it might have some issues at first, but I am excited for online chat. So I have touched upon this throughout, and this should be an obvious reason that it is so it's so anticipated. It's because it has these three modes. It has the TV mode where you just plug it in, play it like a normal console, and I think people are relieved that's still there. Nintendo's not going off the wall. And then the tabletop mode, really cool, I think. That's where the party games, like I talked about earlier, will come in, and especially like the two-player co-op, like playing in like a park or something, or at your friend's house. You just take your Switch over and you guys play. Or you can do the mobile mode, and that mode's probably the best reason to get the Switch. You can play the games that normally you were stuck at home playing on the go. Like, I'm gonna be jealous of those people playing Breath of the Wild while I'm on the Wii U stuck at home, because they're taking it everywhere. They're playing on planes, buses. They're playing everywhere they have to be. But yeah, this mobility is probably just the biggest reason to buy the Nintendo Switch. In my opinion, it adds so much to the console. The next thing would be the Joy-Con controllers. These are really cool. It's Nintendo's innovation that they're most proud of. At first, I was a little scared. It's like, oh, these are just Wii controllers. But no, they're actually pretty cool. They have the HD rumble on it, so it's very sensitive to like different feelings and different touches. And I'm just excited how people use these with their games. I'm especially excited with indie games, because I think with this HD rumble technology that Nintendo Switch is using, if the right game uses it in the right way, you could end up with something that's really cool, really unique, and something that the Nintendo Switch can brag about and boast that this innovation was very much worth it. So another thing I like is that you can still play traditionally. With a lot of Nintendo consoles, I feel like they've been pushing like, oh, you gotta play with our new stuff. That's some good stuff. But now it's more leaning towards, hey, we got this Pro controller. They've had one in the past. I wish that one worked with the Switch, but you're going to have to buy a new one. It's like $70 or something absurd. But you're going to buy this Pro controller and you can just play it normally like you always had. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just something nice that you can play the Nintendo Switch like a normal console if you want. If this new innovation or the new controller's too weird for you, you can just play with a Pro controller. And I'll probably do that for games like Splatoon, to be honest. So another thing I like is that the price point seems fair. It's not cheap. Cheap would be $250, and I think that's what a lot of people are expecting, but I think it's fair. Like, let's think about it. I bought my Xbox for about $300, and that was a year and a half, 2 years after it came out, maybe. And I think it's just a fair price. Like, normal consoles come out for like $500 at the start, and the Wii U even came out for, I think, about $300 as well, and the 3DS is $200. So those are kind of like this combined system where you're also going mobily and you're also going like this home console. So I feel like it just seems fair, and I don't know why people were surprised with this, that the Wii U was $300 when it came out and it's getting cheaper. No, that wouldn't make sense. This has more innovation to it than the Wii U. This has more parts going into it, and I think you're just buying more of a product, so you should expect more money, if anything. So I think this price point's fair at $300. Granted, they do charge you a ton for all these little extra things, like the controllers, like docks and like little stuff that you feel like shouldn't cost too much to get extra of, but I don't know. It's really if you want to play on different TVs, or like you want to play on like you want to use different controllers or more controllers, or it's pretty much charging you if you want to customize stuff, which I don't have too much of a problem with, but this price point is fair. So the next thing is cartridges, and I actually really like this. I'm really excited to use these. It's not going to make that much of a difference, obviously. The game's going to play the same. The cartridge won't make any change to the system, to the game that you're playing. It's just this cute little novelty thing that I think only Nintendo can really pull off. So, and the last thing is they're taking off region lock, and that's been on Nintendo consoles for a while. Forever, if I am right. But it's just, so pretty much region lock, you can play games, other regions. You buy something there, bring it over, you're good. That's about it. It's about all I have on region locking, but that's my 10th point. I was really milking it there. And yeah, this is going to be my video. Thank you guys for watching. Well, a little sunlight in my face. Hopefully that was not there the whole video. But if you like this kind of stuff, feel free to let me know in the comments. I have other videos on my channel. I got some Overwatch stuff coming out. I got some Pokemon stuff, other Nintendo stuff. Everything you could desire. So hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.
Know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying.